My name is Emma Duarte.
And my name is Christian Watkins.
And we are Christian teens giving our personal insight with facts and stories.
Welcome to the TBH, Teens Being Honest podcast.
Mom! I'm freezing! Mom!
Mom, I'm burning! Ow! Ow!
Mom, I don't feel so good. This bed is uncomfortable. This bed is really uncomfortable.
I feel exposed. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Teens Being Honest podcast. This week we are going to be talking about pain. We've both been going through some things in our personal lives lately, and we thought that this would be a good subject to go over and help people to realize that pain isn't the worst thing, even though it feels terrible and is just kind of awful. If you look at it in a secular sense, it actually has meaning and has a purpose besides just feeling awful and feeling worthless, whatever it is.
We're going to dig deep into really what it's about and how to think about it from a Catholic viewpoint, right?
Yeah, and it's just a way that makes pain not just this awful thing and not just a terrible burden on us.
Let's just say the silver lining to a lot of suffering can come from being positive and being Catholic, and not even just that, but just knowing who God is. I think that there's a way to deal with a lot of suffering. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, so just recently I figured out that I have an anxiety disorder. I guess I lied on my anxiety podcast, and so I've been having to deal with that for a few months now. Just, constant stress, anxiety about little to nothing. It's hard when you're doing a podcast, when you care about, every little click, every little like, every little post.
Right.
It's just a constant nagging and a constant burden, and, I was wondering why I have it, and it's just painful. It's hard to desire to do anything. It
affects daily life a lot. So.
Yeah, it makes me turn back to old habits to try and suppress it, and that just makes it worse, and it's sort of just a cycle where I'm scared that I'm going to fail to get stuff done, so I just watch something, and then I'm like, dang it, I failed to get that done, and then I have anxiety about that, and I try to get stuff done, and I have no motivation for that, and I have anxiety about that, like, am I doing the wrong thing?
Yeah.
So it's just a constant cycle of...
Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm at your level, but I can definitely understand how you're feeling like that. I think being really hard on myself is something that I struggle with. And so when I don't feel like I'm waking up at 4 a.m. doing, just not reaching my potential, I feel like a lot of suffering and anxiety can come from that. So I understand how you're feeling.
Yeah, so just talking about pain from a secular, or just meaning non-Christian standpoint, it's just awful. Pain is the worst.
Right.
I mean, you can always say that without pain we wouldn't know what joy is, but then also, like, without pain we'd always be joyful. So there's the two sides of that coin. And so with like pain, people go through so much more than I go through, so much more than Emma goes through. And you can either be miserable with it or use that for something else, for something greater.
I think the phrase that has gotten me really through the week, because there's been a lot of stress, overthinking, and anxiety for me personally, has been actually a post on Instagram of, like, God says no. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me just read through this. And so one of the parts in the post was, God, make me happy. And God says, no, I give you blessings. Happiness is up to you. And I think throughout my entire day, just driving, running errands, it's like, no, God gave me blessings. It's up to me. And that is so true. And I don't know why I just wasn't really seeing it, because when you're in pain, when you're struggling, you can't really see the blessings. You don't really want to. It's not something that you're paying attention to. But I think in those moments when you really realize that you could have everything and still not be happy, it's definitely up to us to make that conscious effort. Easier said than done, but I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, that's perfect. And with my pain, I didn't really know what to do with it. It was just kind of miserable.
As it usually is.
I mean, it's hard for me to do anything except like work outside and exercise, because when you're working your muscles and just physically doing stuff.
Even for some people, though, it's hard for them to get
exactly.
up and
But I'm just
exercise.
talking about for me.
Right.
Then that goes away. But I work in front of a computer all day for the podcast, and even though I don't like to, that's what I have to do to get this stuff out there and spread the word and just do what I can.
You're great at it, though.
Exactly.
You got talent, so.
So what I have to do is just sit in front of this computer all day, and it just makes me miserable, because I wasn't built for it. I wasn't made to sit inside all day. No human was made to sit inside all day. We were given this earth for a reason. We're not supposed to just stay in one place all the time, and that causes a lot of pain for me.
So you think the pressure of the podcast, the constant, being inside, and just it can be really taxing, especially on
it's just
the mental.
I try to pinpoint an area of the anxiety. It's just sort of all painful. And so getting to what I do with that pain is, instead of just holding that burden, I just say, hey, I'm going through this right now. I take the pain one painful moment at a time. I just say, hey, I'll give this to you, God. Just do whatever you can with it. I mean, it can be a minuscule pain. It can be stubbing my toe. Or it can be just all the stress of the day combined. It doesn't matter how little or big that pain is. God is going to use that for something great.
Yeah.
So when we offer that up, and that's taken up to God, and He uses that.
I think we can, from people that really don't have that relationship with God, they're kind of like, okay. But I think what we're trying to say is it's just as easy as, like, when you're having your weekly mental breakdown. I can, attest to that. It's as simple as saying, you know what, this might be over something silly. This might be over something serious. It might be, whatever. Just simply saying, God, how I'm feeling right now, this pain, I give it to you. Just saying that simply is enough.
And that's really, actually, I'm going to take a step back, because I'm always going at this podcast from a, Christian perspective, Catholic perspective,
Right.
and it's not a lot of teens are Catholic or
Right.
Christian at all, or I mean, they are, but they don't live
have
their
that
faith
connection.
or understand
And
it.
we can understand that.
Exactly. Right? We went through the same thing.
Exactly.
It's not an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
The devil doesn't want us to know happiness and truth and joy, but just like, if you're going through pain right now and you don't have that happiness or joy or that connection,
Unfortunately,
that is miserable, and it's a burden, and you can keep suppressing that burden with.
You're lost, so you're like, okay, I don't even know how to begin with that. And I think words just hold so much power and a lot of meaning. If you're constantly talking down about yourself, I'm going to be honest, I talk down about myself constantly. It can really just keep you in a mental headspace that's not healthy. So trying to just make more conscious decisions of, like, no, I can give this up. I can be,
well, not even that. Just like, if I was just going at it the standpoint, like, what you're doing, what I did when I didn't want to be close to God, I just was running as fast as I could away from Him, in, like, literal, like, just, I didn't want anything to do with Him. I didn't want Him to exist. What I did was just totally distract myself from my pain and from my whatever it was, with either drugs or porn or YouTube, whatever it was. I just wanted to distract myself, the next fun thing that would just totally take me away from my problems and my pain. And that's what a lot of people that don't know what love is or what truth is it's easy to do that. It's easy to distract your problems and your pain.
Definitely.
But once that distraction ends, that pain just it gets stronger and stronger in you. If you don't know what love is and truth is, you'll keep turning back to that stuff that makes it worse and worse. It's just a terrible cycle that happens with us when we feel all this pain and this hurt from whatever it is, from whatever problem we're going through, and then instead of turning to God, we just or offering that up and having him do something good with it. I mean, goodness knows how. I don't know how he does it.
So I think
I also don't know how he created us.
A few tools would be great, though, in order to really just try to work through it, because I think when people are really into it and they're lost and they don't even have a faith, or they don't have a support system of faith, I think that tools that we could give them of what worked well for us would be, a great start.
Well,
so what is working well for you?
It's hard to like what I said in a previous podcast was just like stop completely, and that's so hard. But the first step in realizing a problem or just stopping the problem completely is asking for help.
Yeah.
Just reaching out to, reaching out to your friends or
people, because I do have friends that don't feel comfortable asking for help, or people that don't really know who can help. And there are situations where people just don't have anybody. They feel as though they don't. So in the situations when people feel like they're all they have, one, that's not true, but two, also just knowing that there are little things that are there to try to reach up. And if you're watching the podcast, this is a great one of them. Another thing that really helped me through a mental pain, at least, was reading the book The Warning by Watkins. If you guys want to look that up. I mean, it really is a perspective change, and it really, helped me to kind of realize. So I think it's on Amazon. It's not like a whatever sponsored book or anything, but it's just really helpful, and it's kind of all about being able to help yourself and being able to lean on God, and if there's no people that you can lean on.
Yeah, so if there's no people, I mean, God's right there. We all have a guardian angel too. Just asking for help, just saying in the little things, like
we just don't want anybody to feel in a hopeless situation.
That's exactly. I couldn't turn to my friends when I was feeling that way. What were they going to say to me?
Well, even then, when I was at my darkest, I didn't care about my friends. I didn't care about even my family, or especially my faith. So
just taking that one step, just saying, hey, I've never talked to you before, God, and I'm just in a painful situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is real or if this really does anything.
Right.
But I just want to give it a shot.
One of my friends said that, she tried the whole not believing in God thing, and it didn't work out for her. So she was like, why not give it a try? Just believe in it, and if it starts to transform me, then great. What do I have to lose? Was kind of her mindset. And especially, I just want to say quickly what my mom kind of gave me an advice for, and this does not work for everybody, but I'm just saying that this is another tool, or what would you call it? Like a
useful tip.
Whatever. Is just to kind of get angry with sick and tired of being in that, and just kind of, it's not traditional, but she was kind of just like, when you're feeling down, just kind of yell at yourself, like, snap out of it, or like, no, you're not ugly, like, no, you're good, like, no, stop thinking that you are, in a bad situation. It's not exactly the most conventional way of doing things, but really just, if that's more your style, if it's not exactly to just cut cold turkey, or if it's not exactly to ask for help, or if you're not a reader, if you're not really one to be even motivated, I think just kind of getting angry and wanting a change for the better is a push. It's like a motivation to just not want to be settled in a crappy situation. So I think it was good advice that she gave me. It didn't exactly help that much, but in a short time with a short problem, it was really just like, Emma, get back up. You're strong. You are. Stop being down on yourself,
Yeah, so, the main point we're trying to get at in this podcast is that, I've been going through a whole bunch of pain the last few months, and, to be honest, it would have made me miserable, and I would have been so down and just unable to do anything if I didn't have a support. And, not to bash on my friends or anything, but there's no better friend than God. I mean, he created everything.
No, I love that.
He created everything. He's all love and all goodness. And, if we don't depend on him, everything else is going to falter.
Yeah.
Everything else isn't everlasting or eternal, meaning everything, will die out and will fade.
I can see how it's hard for some people to wrap their heads around that, though, and to think of God as some crazy being that's like, if it helps, he's just your friend, he could be your dad, he could be just your brother, a buddy. Like, he's not this crazy, I mean, he is. But to have the human conscience wrap its brain around that for a non-believer and for somebody that's not strong in their faith, not strong, but
so
just,
that's why you talk about baby steps. And reaching out by saying, "Hey, I don't even know if you are real. I don't know. I'm at a shaky point in my life. God, I'm struggling. I'm struggling in this and this and this, and I got pain here and here. But I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna, I haven't wanted to reach out to you. I haven't wanted to know you for the longest time.
Yeah.
And, I'm sort of sick of being miserable. I'm sort of sick of everything else not working out.
Hasn't been working out, exactly.
So I'm just going to give this to you.
I'm going to give right.
I'm going to give what I can to you. I'm going to offer it to you. And hopefully you can do something good with it, because I know I can't. I'm just sitting here feeling like a slum, and I can't do anything with this, and I just feel terrible. But I know you can do something with this. I don't know how. I think that's crazy. I don't know how you're going to do something with this, but I know that you can. So, to wrap the podcast up, we're just saying that pain is miserable. Like, I wish the world had no pain. I wish, Adam and Eve didn't eat that freaking fruit. Like, we would be all good. Sometimes. But, that's just human nature. Even like if we were put in Adam's position, we would fail, because we fail every day. We fail every day when we're supposed to do something, but we choose the wrong thing. But God forgives us. God forgives us, and he loves us. That's the key.
That's honestly what you need to remember when you're messing up, is that he forgives us. I recently posted something on our Instagram, and it was just kind of get it through your head that when you are even far away from God, when you've messed up, forgiveness is the biggest light and the key to get yourself out of that, man. Just don't forget that God can forgive anything if you really ask for it.
So when we're going through pain, just make sure that you don't hold that pain as a burden, hold that pain as a weight. Instead, no matter what the pain is, it can be so minuscule that you think it can do nothing, but God can do great things with that pain. And he just wants you to take that first step. You give him an inch, and he gives you like
an ocean.
An ocean. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. He just gives you everything. I mean, not everything.
This is our motivational speech to you guys,
but
man.
This
is your sign.
He wants you, so bad. And that's crazy. Why would the creator of the universe want you personally?
But kind of crazy that he cares so much
about
for
everyone.
Us. When you really look at the grand scale of it, I mean, I saw Earth from Mars. We're tiny, okay? It's hard to wrap our heads around, but it's so important that we just have faith, and that's, easier said than done, but this is why we're here. This is why we're doing what we're doing. This is how life is good, and there's always positives, and I'm not trying to be that annoyingly optimistic person, but, Christian's been there. Christian's not perfect, neither am I, and we're really just trying to say that whatever you guys are going through, we're here for you, and pulling up a hand, and trying to lead you guys closer to happiness.
Just take baby steps.
Yeah, we're all friends.
And when you fall down, just ask for help to get back up. It's not a shameful thing to do.
Nope. That's what I had to do,
Keep working at it. That's the best advice we can give you, is just keep moving on and keep trying. God doesn't judge us on our success. He judges us on if we try.
Yeah.
If we never try.
You only really fail when you quit, There's no way.
And we have the opportunity so many times to just say yes. And even if we just say yes one time, it makes God so happy.
Yeah.
So I want to wrap us up with a prayer just for everyone that's dealing with pain and hurt and doesn't know what to do with that and doesn't know if there is a God, even if they're, or if they know there is a God,
even where to
he
start,
can do everything that we say he can do. Just letting them be open to that opportunity. So just, respect this time, respect this moment. Lord, we go through pain every day. We have choices every day that we have to make, and there's a lot of hurt in the world and a lot of pain and separation going on right now in politics and race and just everything. There's hurt and there's pain, and there's just so much room for your joy and your happiness and your love, but sometimes we don't want to accept that, and we don't want to know or even give the chance of knowing what that truly means. And just give us the opportunity to know your love and feel your love and want your love, to desire your love, and to desire to do something good with our pain and our hurt, to offer that up to you so we can do good with it. I don't know how you do it. I'm just glad that you do, and thank you for helping me out with my pain and helping me get through life and just being there for me always. And I want you to be there for everyone, and I want everyone to know that you're there for them. And in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
In the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you everyone for listening. We are doing short and sweet episodes now, and we hope you guys like it a little bit more. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Have a great day, guys.
Yeah,
Or night.
Great, whatever. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.